You finish the day, get into bed, and almost instantly, a math equation starts running in your head. If I fall asleep right now, I get 6 hours, 5.5 hours. Instead of drifting off, you enter an interrogation phase. You lie there observing your own state, asking, am I asleep yet? Am I close? Every minute that passes ticks up the cost of tomorrow. You start projecting the deficit, calculating exactly how the fatigue will ruin that morning meeting or leave you dragging through the afternoon. This diagram outlines exactly why that process is a trap. Look at this feedback loop. The act of evaluating your sleep creates anxiety, which triggers wakefulness, forcing you back to evaluation. That meta-monitoring is exhausting, but it keeps the mind perfectly bright and alert. Most of us operate on a very reliable rule in our professional lives. If you want a better result, you apply more focus and effort. Sleep is the exception. The more you need it, the harder you try to force it. And the harder you try, the further it drifts away. Lying awake at 2 in the morning is often a byproduct of being a high performer. It is the result of applying the same analytical tools to your rest that you use to win at work. You are bringing workplace logic, effort, and metrics to an internal biological state that actively resists them. The physical reality is that sleep is not a muscle you can flex on command. To understand why, we have to look at the brain's architecture. This schematic illustrates two competing systems. The pathway flaring up here is your arousal and vigilance network. Its entire job is threat detection, future planning, and self-evaluation. Competing with that is the sleep onset system. For onset to take over, it requires a de-escalated, passive environment. Notice how the sleep pathway attempts to activate, but the dominant vigilance network physically overrides it. When you consciously evaluate your lack of sleep, the brain flags that failure as a threat. This evaluation hits the arousal network, causing a physical spike in alertness that overrides the sleep pathway. Trying to sleep is a biological error. It recruits the vigilance system to do a job it was explicitly designed to prevent. This explains why commanding yourself to relax rarely works. When you try to aggressively block out thoughts of being awake, you usually just increase their frequency. Even standard sleep hygiene routines can backfire. The perfect temperature, the blackout curtains, and the wind-down rules can easily morph into a high-pressure checklist, creating its own layer of performance anxiety. It's also why people turn to chemical aids like alcohol or sedatives. The evidence there is mixed, and it carries real risks of dependency without actually solving the root biological loop. Standard discipline-based tools fail because they are ultimately just different ways of feeding the arousal network with more effort and pressure. So what actually helps? The behavioral sleep literature points to a concept called paradoxical permission. This means explicitly giving yourself permission to lie in the dark, breathe slowly, and stay awake. By dropping the demand that you must sleep immediately, you remove the performance pressure. That lowers the brain's threat response. But sometimes the environment itself is the problem. In behavioral psychology, this is known as stimulus control. If you have an ongoing struggle with rest, the bed becomes a psychological fight arena. It triggers frustration, not recovery. If the mattress has become a trigger for your arousal network, you cannot outthink the association. You have to physically break it. Pick one night this week to experiment. No heroics, just a test. Apply the 20-minute rule. If you are in bed and actively frustrated after roughly 20 minutes, you must physically leave the mattress. Stop rehearsing the struggle. Move to another room. Keep the lights very dim. Engage in a dull, non-work activity, like reading a paper book. Do not return to your bed until your eyelids are heavy. If you take one thing from this, when sleep won't come, drop the performance. Lie in the dark, long, slow exhale, and let yourself be awake without fixing it. If you're churning past about 20 minutes, get up. Dim light, something boring, then come back when you actually feel sleepy, not when you feel you should.